I wanted to share a personal story because this came up this week with somebody I was talking to. And I thought back to when it happened to me, when I was dating someone and they didn't want to be seen with me or they didn't want people to know about me. And I thought back to that and what I learned from it, and it came up when I was talking to this person. So in this video, I'm going to tell you about that, and I'm going to tell you what you do when somebody doesn't want to be seen with you or let people know that you're together. So what happened for me was there was this woman, we were seeing each other for about 6 months, and it was a very casual thing. And back then I had not gotten to a place where I was clear about what I wanted and, willing to stand up for it the way I talk about on here. I hadn't gotten there yet. And so I was with this woman and I was into her, and I think she was into me, but she had her own thing going on and she just wasn't about a committed relationship for her own reasons, and that's fine. But it was me who was tolerating it. But I remember one night that we had spent the weekend together. We had an amazing weekend together. We had such a good time, and we were going to this event. A bunch of mutual friends were going to be there, and we were holding hands. And I remember walking up the stairs with her into this event, and she goes, "We probably shouldn't hold hands in here. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea." And I just remember how it was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, I get it. It's cool because, we had an understanding here. But I just remember the feeling of like, and this is something that came up with somebody I was talking to this week, and I hadn't gotten there yet, but I thought back, what would I do now if I were in that position? And this is what I would have done. I would have stopped right there, and I would have said, listen, you know what? Like, it's been great. I've had a good time, but this doesn't work for me anymore. Like, I would have stopped right there and just not taken it a step further up that staircase, a step further in another moment together. I would have just said, listen, this doesn't work for me anymore. Like, I like you. I've been clear about that, but you're just dragging me through the mud here, and it doesn't feel good, and I don't like it, and you don't even want to be seen with me. Like, that says a lot about how you feel about me. And, a realization I came to later when I was thinking back on that, and especially this week when I was talking to somebody about it, was that if somebody doesn't want to be seen with you or they don't want people to know about you, that shows you very clearly how seriously they take the relationship. Like, just crystal clear, that shows you right there what they really think about the relationship. It doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't mean they don't like you. Like, I know her. I know she sincerely liked me in a lot of ways. I know in many ways she's a great person, beautiful person, but she did not think much about our relationship. She thought it was something casual, something she could have in the background, something she could have on the side, something that if she was bored or wanted some company that she could have me around, but she did not think that highly of our relationship in the grand scheme of things. And I think it's so important if you're in a relationship with somebody like that. And I think it's so important to be able to recognize it for what it is. I know it doesn't feel good. Believe me, I know it doesn't feel good. But it's so important for you to recognize that and stand up for yourself. And in this relationship, I actually did. It was about 2 weeks later that I finally said, you know what, like, this sucks too much for me and I'm done. But, I could have saved myself months of heartache if I'd come to that a lot sooner. And it's so important if you're in a relationship that somebody is not taking seriously. They're not giving you the commitment that you want. They're not giving you the love that you want. They're not giving you the relationship you want. They're not wanting other people to know about you. They won't post pictures of you together, or they won't tell their friends about you. It's so important that if you're with somebody like that, that you just have enough courage to stand up for yourself and say, listen, if that's how little you think of this relationship, it's not a relationship I want to be in. I'm not going to hate you for it. I'm not going to be mad at you for it. I'm not going to resent you for it. I'm just going to respect myself enough to walk away from it. And so that's my story. That's what I went through. I have a friend who's going through this right now. And I think if you're going through that, have the courage to stand up and say, this isn't what I want. And I'm worthy enough, I'm lovable enough to deserve what I want. And I know there's somebody who's going to give it to me. And if that person isn't you, that's okay. I'm hosting a workshop. This is one of the many things we confront in modern dating. And I'm hosting a workshop called Finding Love, or How to Find Love in a Modern Dating Scene, where you're confronting all these non-committal people and all these people who just, cycles that seem to be going nowhere, and relationships that seem to be going nowhere, and people who want different things, and people who won't be honest. And there is a way to find true love within the midst of all this. And that's what this workshop is about. I'd like to invite you to join me in our next workshop. You can register at myconsciousrelationship.com. There's no cost for registration, but I would absolutely love to have you there. So thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you there.